Okay. This was from last week. A new page. 2016. So status, we'll see about 1.10.1. And maybe next ones, by the way. What else? Demonstration. Demos? Anyone has demos? Zoltan.
Sebastian, I have a demo.
Who is that?
Today. It's Mark.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, me and Keith also have some REST API work we can demo.
Good. Who else? Nobody. More time for discussions. Okay, status. I don't think there's been much done last week. Let's see. That's weird, but let's see. Okay, this is where I stopped when I merged. Okay, so this was a change. Let's see. This was talked about. I merged 110x in. No, I merged 110.1 into master, and I tagged master with 110.1. Merge master into 110x to get all the changes from 110.1 into 110x. Merged 110x into dev. There were some merge conflicts that I fixed. I hope I haven't broken anything. Then this must have been a pull request. Yes, we had triage on Thursday, so we merged a bunch of pull requests. This one was when you're using an absolute URI. It seems correct. So we'll see how it goes. It's on dev. This one is a new branch from Sipke, who's working on HTML filters, because there was an issue between, there is a conflict between the filter, HTML filters in dynamic forms and body or layouts. So he's trying to refactor that by having the same one, the same pipeline, I assume. We'll see how it goes. Is it done, Sipka?
Yeah,
it's a lot of files.
Yeah, it's waiting for feedback, particularly the name. You know, HtmlFilter 2. That's not a very good name, I think. But I also don't want to break the existing interface. So, but I made some comments, so maybe we can.
Okay,
well, it's awaiting feedback.
I'm sure there's a PR. Okay, there's a PR.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, I haven't seen it. Fixed admin for due to incorrectly named resource jquery-colorbox. Yep, okay. It's sad that we didn't catch it before. Resources. Okay, and renames. Okay. 110x, fixed incorrect reference in option resource. Okay. And merge to dev. Okay, good things. So I shipped we shipped, but I did the paperwork. 110x, orchard project.net. Updating the homepage. People were seeing that in the status on their admins that it was already released. Release notes was already done. And look at that, beautiful. Thank you, Antoine. Where is Antoine? Antoine is not here. Antoine is not here. So this is a new documentation site. We'll talk about it after. So the reasons were already written. What's new? Mostly breaking things from 1.10 release. Well, fixing broken things from 1.10, like layout editing in Edge. Lots of jQuery resources were wrong. This one from Jean-Thierry, fixing the Elias updater, which was actually run twice because there were two background tasks. The the new feature, configurable snippets, very interesting. I'm waiting for a blog post from David Hayden, because I know you like this feature. You like the snippets, so now we can configure them. It's beautiful. Well, we could configure them. It's just that now it's...
you can now configure them without side effects. Weird, undesired side
There's
effects.
a YAML file for that, yes, that's better. It would be nice to have some simple documentation about snippets and how to configure them. Or maybe you haven't, because I think you have a blog post, but maybe not with the new ones.
Yeah, that's right. I have a blog post, but it's not updated. With this new feature, what I will do is update it and even contribute to the documentation.
Yeah, great. I'm sure even a simple one just to explain what to do and
exactly.
People could discover after. We have this one, which is interesting. Double-clicking submit buttons is prevented now, so you can't double-click a submit button anymore. If you try, it will just submit it once, so you won't have duplicated content in database. Loading tenants retries configuration. Yeah, if you have lots of tenants and some can't load, it will retry. And now you can configure it. That's it. Lots of more small bugs, but that's the major ones here. I haven't had any news yet. I assume it's not published already. And that's it. So this site, new documentation. So Antoine finalized all the work and merged it to master branch. So this is the new default. You see doc.orchardproject.net is there. And the biggest change here is that now we can have the talk is much better because we can see everything directly, the full talk. We can even customize the talk with empty files. If we want to create a fake talk with entries that needs to be completed, if we want to ask for support, that's better. It works on GitHub, edit on GitHub, and we can see the images. If there are images, I will find one. See, beautiful. So this will be perfect to update the documentation. And we have a new section from Matthew, which is assets. Let's see if it works. Assets pipeline. Beautiful, such works. So lots of content for this feature. Now, if you wonder how to manage your assets, to create, combine JavaScripts, process, less files, SAS files, everything is explained here. Maybe too much is explained. Even the task runner, how to use the task runner in Visual Studio. So that's beautiful. Good job. Okay, even a link to the discussion. Okay, good stuff. So feel free to create more topics on the documentation. Any questions? Is it really so much pain in migrating to 110x? Yes, I've heard it's a lot of pain. Hey, Benedek is back. I think the most pain is to migrate to NuGet because all your modules have to be updated if you have custom modules. If you don't have custom modules, I assume it's just about overwriting the overwriting the current modules you have with the ones from 1.10. But I've seen on the forum that people have issues with it's just painful, yeah. It's cumbersome. You have to process every package and reference the NuGet packages instead of the local lib. So that's the biggest pain. Okay. Yeah, Matthew is here. Thank you, Matthew, for the assets pipeline. What's your next topic?
It's up for grabs if anyone wants to advise me.
Oh, I don't know. Who wants documentation? For what? I'm sure the documentation is complete now. Do we have? We don't have any documentation for layouts. We have blog posts from Sipke, but I'm not sure we have documentation. I don't know what people would like to see.
I have got a lot of issues open on the actual repo, which lists some things which I need to get done, like typos and bits that are missing.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, maybe some. I've seen people asking how to use the cache, different modules, different possibilities. I'm not sure we have any, for instance, documentation on the cache service, the cache manager, how to use them. Maybe I've seen that asking.
I think we should have. At one time, probably Daniel wrote some documentation about it, or it was probably just as a discussion in the forum.
I don't know. So we have caching here.
Okay, great.
Cache manager, and this one. So this is just describing that we have iCache manager. We have an Hibernate caching. Contrib.cache, which is very old because now it's no more contrib.cache, it's orchard.caching. You see, with links to the modules added on Bitbucket, so it's wrong. Yeah, so this is completely outdated and doesn't show all the solutions. Oh, there is orchard caching. Okay, so there is this new section which actually prevails over this one. So this one should be removed. Oh, but it was also a module launcher. Okay, so everything is old. cachd doesn't exist anymore, I'm sure. It's been replaced by the... Oh, maybe it works. And then, yeah, caching here just... Okay, so there is nothing about caching, definitely. It's missing, there is wrong data and it's missing a section. Okay, just if someone wants to work on it. Questions? No more questions about it? Status? So 1.10.1 shipped. I haven't seen anything wrong, any tweets, people complaining, so it seems to work. What else? Next version. So 1.10.2, we already have something for that, and 1.11, just to see the status of these ones. If I look at this and issues, milestone 1.10x, because I already marked everything which is closed for what? They are closed for 1.10x? Let me see. I have to be sure that they are really in 1.10x and they are not, or they should not be assigned. Ah, these are all the ones from Christian. Okay. That were assigned to 1.10x and closed. And okay. So let's look at, so these ones, the last ones are actually for 1.10.2. Maybe, yeah, probably for 1.10.2, yes. Context provider, SSL, yeah, so 1.10.2. I will create a milestone 1.10.2 later, okay. So status 1.10.2, create milestone, 1.11, roadmap. I'm sure now I can look for it here. Feature roadmap. So 1.11, what do we have? Deployment feature. I've seen some work from George on the branch. There is a branch, and also work from Sipke. Sipke, what have you done on that? Just merged?
Yeah, just merged so far. George asked for my help to get it integrated, which is still in progress.
Okay. New adding theme, so some progress.
Yeah, the new admin theme it's getting pretty close.
Yeah, there are some things to talk about this. So, yeah, you said on the forum last week that you had looked at almost everything and there were just a few details to fix and it's shippable, so we could use it. There is still your face at the top right. We should fix it.
Yeah, exactly. That was one of the minor things that I.
Yeah, but we could fix it in the correct way because I have a gravatar HtmlFilter.
Yeah, that was the idea, to replace that with a gravatar, and if there's an email address with the current user, then that's cool.
Yeah, I'm not sure how important it is for people to see their own face, but why not? Because there is nothing special there. There is no account settings, or maybe there's a link. Yeah, maybe we could link to the account settings. Okay.
Yeah.
That and yes, Jasmine also worked a lot on that, so it looks good.
Yeah,
maybe
there's also a question with the right side pane that moves in, it slides in, but we're not. We want to use it at some point, but at this point, there's nothing much we can do with it.
There's something we can do. What about a demo?
A demo with the latest.
On your machine, you just it should take
it's already
10
here.
minutes. Okay, good.
Yep.
So we'll see that, and also you fixed the license issue because your friend Miguel So
Yeah.
decided to create a custom license just for Orchard and a custom distribution just for Orchard, so we can do everything we want with that.
Which is pretty awesome because it's not a it's great work what he did.
So it went from a big issue to actually the best thing in the world, and
Exactly.
and and we'll see what we can do to thank him, how we can show up his work and help him this way. So that's great. So this is also in blog. So we should have the new admin theme ready for 1.11 very soon. It will be a breaking change, but not. We'll see. We'll assess how much breaking. It's just there will be workarounds. That should work. Everything should work. So good. A customizable dashboard. That's weird because we have that already. It's in 1.10. It's the new dashboard module that you did, right? Or is it just a dev?
No, that's not new. That was already part of 1.10.
It's on 1.10. I will change that. Accessibility, but nothing is done so far on that.
We have glimpse. Does that also mean we have the what's that called again?
Decorators?
Pattern? Decorators.
Yeah, it's not yet done. This is my job to accept the pull request. That's that's what I have to do. This is workflows. There is an issue because it should be a sub bullet points here. There's an issue here. A new base theme. I haven't heard about it for a long time. I assume it's stale. We'll see with Daniel what's the state. And this has already been done. Yep. So that's good. I will try to update this thing. If I have time after demos, or between the demos, looking for owners, front-facing website, too many things that are wrong. Okay, there's an issue because it shows correctly in Markdown, so we have to talk to Antoine about it. Glimpse improved. Where is the dashboard? Oh, that's why we didn't see that. It's part of the customizable, the new admin theme. Okay, we'll see how it goes with this one. Accessibility, improved workflow, new base theme. This is done. Done. New base theme track. This is what I used last time. New admin theme almost ready. Deployment feature on track, and this one is on track too. And this one haven't been started. So apparently, Mark, this is what you want to show up. We'll see how it goes. Save. Master, so it should show up soon. So Mark, if you're ready, I will give you access. Okay, I'm lost. Tom and Keith are able to demo on REST APIs. I thought it was Mark who talked.
Yeah, but it's a different demo.
But it's also on REST APIs?
No, it's not about REST APIs.
Why did I hear?
That was us.
Oh, you talked about REST APIs, okay. Tom and Keith, REST APIs. And if we have time, Sipke with admin theme. Okay, so I will give it to Mark first, because this is the one Mark Bartha. Okay. Make presenter, and then after, you can go on if you want, Mark.
Okay, so can I start?
Yep.
Okay, let's try. So can you see my screen?
I can, and you are recording, right?
I'm not recording.
That's János.
Yes.
Oh, there are many long big guys. Okay. Okay, it's good then. As János, can you see screen?
He is typing, so probably he doesn't have a mic.
Good. So you can go.
Yeah.
Because we just wait for
Okay,
the
thank you.
recording.
So, first of all, this is my first demo, so I would like to introduce myself first. My name is Bartha, and I'm a software engineer for 6 years, and I work for Lombik Technologies since it has been founded. Well, you probably know the projects like MediaKitty or Masker. They have been presented on the Helveres conference. I was worked on those projects, and I was the leader of MediaKitty. That was my first project. Okay, so I don't really want to waste your time. So the thing I would like to show you today is a Studio extension. This extension is about enhancing your WordChat development productivity. And I started developing this extension 1 year
Sorry,
ago.
Mark,
Yes.
I think your screen is frozen. At least for me.
No, it's not frozen.
No, it's not frozen. It moves, but it's just showing the Skype.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So yes, it's just starting. Okay, so I started developing it 1 year ago on my own. And the main reason why I wanted to develop one tiny feature is that I would like to have feature for injecting dependencies, because I hate injecting dependencies. It's a repetitive coding, I think, and this is what I have now. Press like this, and I have dependency injected. What has happened here is that
We lost your screen.
Really?
I lost it.
Okay.
Yes, also.
I lost it too.
So you need to reshare.
Oh, that was the best part. So, can you see this?
Yes.
Okay. So what I did a moment ago is I have injected a dependency. I have a little menu item here, and I have bound key shortcut to this, and I have a window here where I can type my dependency name. For example, iClock that I was injected right now, or I have iWork context accessor, and I also can generate short field names. And I have injected the work context accessor. Okay, so that's one feature that I implemented first. And
You lost your screen.
But why?
Benedek says if you hit Ctrl-Shift-S, it stops the screen. Maybe you're saving the file or something like that.
Yes, that's right.
So don't do that.
Okay, I won't say. Oh my god, that will be a problem later. Okay, never mind. So this is just one tiny feature is for injecting dependencies, but I also wanted to create item templates and project templates just for making that more quick, like creating projects. I can show you these templates here. We have already Orchard 9.1.9 and 1.10 module templates. And orchard.test, for example. And now we have 1.10 project added. It's a similar one, so exactly it's the same one that is scaffolded by the orchard.exe. And now you see we have place1.info and everything is okay. And also we have item templates. Yes, orchard here. And as you can see, I have a different set of classes in connection with content parts and records. This one also creates content types, and I have a settings content part or a simple empty shape template. Oh, and I forgot something. When I create when I create a project, I need to pay attention to the path where it will be generated. This is this one, so it won't be recognized by Orchard, but I create another one here. Test 2, for example. What is it? Forget. Never mind. It doesn't matter. So we have, I have already created some projects here. For example, this one. So I would like to create item templates here. So here are the types and record. This one I tried this. For example, it would be an animal, for example. And this form you can see here is about adding properties, because it's also repetitive coding, because you add it to the content part, and you will also create the shape templates for those properties, editors, and so on. So we can add some properties here, type, or I don't know, color. It's also string. Both of them are hybrid info set, so it will be stored in the record. And I don't know, something that won't be hybrid info set. Okay, yes, we have a placement here. We can update it, but it's optional because it will mess up the indent, the placement. I'm working on it, but it's now implementing this way because it's using the built-in xdocument.save method, which has its own indenting. Okay, I will update this. And as you can see, we have a lot of classes created here. For example, some constants. It's conventions by Lombik. And a driver is also created, and handler for the record. Migrations to create the records and the types. And of course, we have the content part with the record. As you can see, I don't have the something in the record. And we have the templates here with the editors. Okay, I won't hit Ctrl-Shift-S, but I will click here, save all, and now I will reload this. I won't enable any modules because I didn't give it the right place, so it won't recognize the module. But we have the animal content type here. It's creatable, so I can create an animal here. Something here, type, I don't know, cat, color, maybe a different one, white, and something here. And it has been created. as you can see, and we can view. So everything is working. Well, besides content part related item templates, I also have a shape template for creating an empty shape. It's a really simple one. And it's empty. And we can create a service as well, a dependency. And it also creates the dependency. So that's all for the features. As I mentioned, I still working on those, and it's open source, so you can check this on GitHub. I will copy it in the chat, and feel free to contribute.
Is it on the gallery already?
We are working on it actually, so I think in 1 or 2 hours it will be on the gallery. But I have some changes in a branch, so after reviewing it with Zoltan, it will be on the gallery.
Okay. So I mentioned in the chat that it looked a lot like the orchardizer.
Yes, orchardizer. Yes.
But it also looks like more polished, more finished. So yeah.
Yeah. Actually, after I implemented the dependency injector feature, that I wanted to use it on my own. Of course, anyone could use that, but after that, I wanted to create some templates. I found the orchardizer. I think Zoltan mentioned me this extension. But the main reason why I'm not using that is the implementation of creating the items, content parts, and so on are implemented in a really different way. So I'm using the built-in Visual Studio template engine.
I still prefer my extension to inject the dependencies. As you can see, if I type I action result whatever, result control dot initialize, and it injects that there and there, so it's integrated. This is the way ReSharper does that. Personal preference, but yeah, it's good.
What is it? What is that feature? I don't know that.
I did. You don't know that? Everyone should know that. It's crazy.
Orchard dependency injector itself.
Yes, VS Constructor Fill. It's an extension that just does that. So when you, I like it.
Okay,
it's integrated in the source code. Roslyn, whatever. I don't know what it's called. Roslyn extensions. Okay, good. That's great. So next week it will be on the gallery. I assume we can share the link, and we should also put it somewhere in the documentation, probably. Okay. In the coding, wherever you want. I don't care. I don't see if there is a space on the website to put that, but on the documentation, definitely we should put a link to that. Okay. You can even have we could even have well, I'm sure if you have some documentation on your site, we can link to that, but we should have that. Any question for anyone about it? Okay.
I actually like the modular creation extension because having to shell out and use the old version to create a module is becoming kind of cumbersome.
Yeah, the 2 versions I saw that too. Yeah, it's different. Yeah, that's good. Good idea. Okay. Next.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you, Mark. Tom and Keith, who are you guys? We've never seen you, and now you have a demo to show.
Hi, first time here. We've
again from UK? What?
Yep. So we've done some work on REST APIs, and we've spotted it on the Orchard roadmap for a while, and So Zoltan spotted our blog post and kindly invited us to come and talk about it. So yeah, we work for a development company in the UK, and we generally use Orchard for all our websites, and then we use Xamarin for app development.
Does anyone have any ideas about why so many people from the UK use Orchard? No, that's crazy. It's Rob is here too. I saw his webpage. So why so many people from the UK?
I'm not sure where we heard about it actually.
Compared to all the other countries, most developers are in the UK, I would say. We have a lot of that's weird. They have a good taste. Well, I wouldn't say so. But okay, that's weird. Okay, then. Do you have a link to your blog post?
Yeah, I'll type it into the.
Okay, thank you. And then please go with your demo.
Have an app and a website, and then we just want to access certain Orchard content and features from the app.
Sharing?
Keith's actually gonna screen share in a minute, so I'll just introduce quickly and then hand over to Keith. So yeah, originally when we wanted to interact with our Orchard websites from the apps, we had some basic implementations where we did things like querying the content manager and then just passing the data back in custom DTOs, which was obviously quite a manual way of doing it. And we also realized that we were bypassing some important bits of the display process, like drivers and placement and things. So Keith had the idea of introducing a separate set of shape bindings which kind of build up a data object when you call display rather than building up the HTML, and then you can just serialize that data object and pass it out over web API or something. So yeah, Keith's made a demo site, so if he can present now, then he can show you it working and maybe show a bit of the code and some of the core Orchard code changes as well. You able to screen share, Keith?
Yeah, it should be. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, cool. We should be. Can you see the desktop now?
I can. Janos, can you see?
Excellent, cool. So yeah, this might seem slightly crazy. It started out just as a kind of bit of an experiment, really, but Tom kind of liked it, so I thought we'd share it with you, and you can pass judgment. I've just, for the purpose of this demo, I've kind of grabbed a bit of content off the About page, which you might recognise. So just in Orchard, first of all, I've set up just a taxonomy with the sort of the team roles in there, and then I've just borrowed the content off the other page. So if you bit of information you might recognise, just a quick look at one of those content items first. So yeah, selection of kind of the usual parts and fields, and then if we whip over to here, I've got just Postman set up, and so if we hit, most of the code is in two sort of custom modules, but they are dependent at the minute on a slight change in the core, but I'll come to that in a bit. So first of all, I'm going to hit module and get Bertrand out. So if I just posted that, first of all, it's spitting out JSON very much in the kind of Orchard format, so made up of parts with
could you resize your screen, because I can't read anything. It's too big. It's like 2000 by something.
Oh right. Oh, okay. Yeah. Hang on a second. Is that better if I keep it in the middle?
It's not about the middle. It's like, if I go to actual size, it works, but it's so, your resolution is so high that everything is small for us.
Actually, if I can, I'm not quite sure how to do that on here. Any suggestions?
Well, if it's a browser, you can still do Control+ to increase the size.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'll see if Postman lets me do it.
At least.
I'll be able to do it when I get into
Control+. Control+.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure you need my file. Control+ will be fine. It will just increase
it'll work in the browser. It doesn't work on this. I can do it when I get into the browser bit. But is that?
Oh, it's not the browser? Okay.
No, this is.
This is the app version of the Postman. Okay.
This is the app version of Postman. So
okay.
If you can see that, it's cool. So yeah, so at the moment, data is broken up pretty much into parts. So pretty verbose kind of formats, which is useful in some situations. It's trickier to deal with in other sort of situations where it's sort of on the app side of things where you actually want it a bit flatter. So in here we are translating shapes to data. So what we can do is we've got all the kind of flexibility of shapes that you get with the view format. So if what I'm going to do here is specify an alternate that I'm kind of happy to have. So if we post that up again, if I can get this to show a little bit easier. So it's flattened out the data right down, so we're no longer interested in the parts. We simply want a sort of much more sort of simple content item to syndicate it to wherever we're going to consume it, but without having to know about the kind of Orchard data structure. So you'll see down here we've got all the kind of fields, the parts, but just the simple basic data. What you notice down here is, so in one of the part of the content item was the sort of Orchard team roles, which was a taxonomy field. So this is giving us a resource URL where we can go and get that taxonomy term. So what I'm going to do, so you have to excuse it's slightly tricky with this zoomed. Again. So we'll go off and get that URL we've just seen. And so this is the Orchard team term. So, but for, which one was it? It's steering committee, this one. So again, we've got the basic information about that term. In this case, we've actually included some of the actual content items that checked into that term as well. So various team members. Again, this is, at the moment, this is in the sort of very much Orchard kind of format of parts. And we've actually got the fields under the parts as well. So in this case, we've got title part. I actually have a subtitle field to the title part. If we again come up to the top, I will add that header again. And if we refresh it, then we're very much down to this kind of simple format again. So if I take you through some of the code aspect with because it's dealing with shapes, we can manipulate it exactly the same way we can manipulate the data in view terms. So if I just come over to, I'll get my placement info over here. I'm just going to quickly uncomment a bit of placement. So I'm just going to remove the blog field and location field out here. So at the moment you'll see you've got location and blog on these parts. If I hit the API again, you'll notice that those are now disappeared out, as you'd kind of expect. What I'll quickly do is I'll take you through some of the basic code aspects of this. So, as Tom said, rather than sort of translate the shapes to views, we're translating to build a model up. So if we take, this is, at the moment I've actually implemented a lot of the core shapes, not all of them, but a lot of the shapes. So sort of most of the parts and fields are all kind of functioning at the minute. So what they look like, normally you see a shape bind, you might see a shape binding like this, but it would be returning some HTML in some format. But instead what I'm doing is using those shape bindings to actually build up a view model, which I will show you in a second where that comes in. So on the display helper, actually has a passing the view data container, and on that I've actually got a model property that we build up, and using a kind of helper view model builder. In this case, this is the title summary, but this bit here creates a node for the content part. So in that case, it's the over on this side. If we find it would be, if I just unflatten that a second. So that would be creating the title part node like you see here, and then actually this passes through to another shape just down below, which actually just sets on that node, it then sets the property title and applies the title straight out the shape. So in many situations you can kind of take the data that's actually been processed, so it's not the kind of raw data out of the part or the field, it's actually the bit that's been processed by the drivers already. So just go back to my notes. So right, so what you will see is slightly different here is normally on shape binding, it would just say shape. What we've done is rather than in order to sort of facilitate this, we've kind of subsetted shapes into sort of give them a purpose. So you consider all the existing shapes as kind of for display purposes, and in this case I've called it a binding action. It's probably not the greatest name, and in fact we'll probably replace that with a string. So I've kind of subsetted shapes by giving them this extra property on the shape bindings, which if I just get up the shape descriptor, so the shape binding.
Can I have a question? If I understood correctly, that means that that you write specific shape overrides, specific for an API display type or something?
Yes, so it completely, when you, in a second I'll show you where we're calling display from, and at that point of calling display I'm actually setting what sort of subset of shapes I want to get. So by default the normal calling display would just render out views saying that I want translation shapes, so it takes an entirely different subset of shapes, but implementing all the same shapes, but it's just a different set for a different purpose. I'll show you that in 1 second. So here's in the shape descriptor class, we've got the shape binding class, and on that we've got that binding action that we saw before. As I say, binding action is probably not the greatest name, but it was just for proof of concept at this stage. And then if I go to the alteration builder, so this is where they get, excuse me if I get anything that's in the wrong order, this is where they get put into the dictionary of shapes, and so previously this would have just been inserting it with the binding name, but instead I'm then just prefixing that with the binding action. So this actual change isn't specific to API stuff, it's a more kind of generic change, but it kind of facilitated what I was trying to achieve. But you guys might have actually a better suggestion of how to do that. So then when I actually, if I go to my controller, so this is the get for the items. So in here, I'm getting the content item as normal. I'm calling content manager build display in exactly the same way as normal. And then I'm, sorry, then I've got in the call is a shape display class. I've actually taken that shape display class as my initial place, and this is almost identical to the shape display class, except what I've done is when I create display helper, I'm just setting the binding action on it, so that's the kind of the subset of shapes, if you like, to use, and then calling execute on that model in the same way as you normally would. The other difference in this class, apart from that, is that on the view data container, I'm setting up a model that's going to be the final output of the shape execute process. So that's going to build up the model there, and current node underneath it is just keep a reference to where it is in the building process. And then at the end of that, it passes that model back to the controller, which serializes it through Web API as normal. So when we call display on that, the only other class bit to show you on that is in the display manager. When it goes to look them up in the dictionary, it does pretty much what it did when it was putting them in. So normally it would be looking up for the alternate or the shape name, but in this case, because we've specified a binding action, so that subset of shapes, it's using that same prefix to pull them out again as well. So that's kind of the rough overview of that code side of it. Well, the other thing I just wanted to show you quickly, sorry, I know this is taking a little bit of time. One of the things that we've kind of done quite a bit recently with using web APIs is alongside Angular. So I kind of wanted to see that as well as being able to pull out some of this data asynchronously through web API, I kind of wanted to be able to render it as well asynchronously. So what I'm just going to do is go for that. Let's get Bertrand's content item out. So this template here is being built up just purely. Wait a second. I'll just get my network tab. I'll reload that page a second. So 47. So over here, this is just using a custom directive in Angular. So when I set the item ID and the detail setting, it's got the JSON that we saw before. So the kind of more verbose kind of output. Within that, it's provided actually. I've just had a sort of template provider class, and it will pull through any URLs offering custom templates. Pretty basic at the minute, but so then my directive has seen that, and it's gone off and asked my templates module for a template, which it's done using a blank content item, just to render out a dynamic template for that content type. So. Next, if I click on the steering committee, it will take me through to the steering committee term part we saw before. Again, so next in the sort of network over here, it's gone off and got that term. Again, same JSON as we saw before, with under the term part that's got those content item summaries. So this time, because before we got the detail template for team member, it's first gone off to get the term part template, and then it's gone off to get the summary template for a team member. Then if I click on any of these, so if we go to Sebastian, we get the page up. Yes, I thought you might like that. And so if we look over here, it's actually this time it's gone off to get Sebastian in pure data format. But then actually we've already got the template and template cache for the team member detail from up here, so it's not had to go off and get that, it's just rendered it straight out. So we can go back to anyone else want to get the picture up? There we go. Yeah, so I think again we can use placement on any of this as sort of before already. I know also with the API stuff, Tom's worked up a separate attribute for the match part of the placement, so you could match those subsets, so the API shapes or the Angular templates you could match in the same way. Just going back, just to show you what this async shapes bit is the one that renders out the Angular templates, and again I've actually used the same method as sort of dividing up, if you like, making those subsets of shape templates for the API. I've actually done the same with the for the Angular templates, just because it felt like it needed to be a kind of quite an explicit separation between the sort of the shape bindings. So so again, when these get pulled by the shape template binding, I can't remember what the name is, provider, it again inserts them with that binding, the binding type. It splits it on the @ and takes, so Angular in this case is that subset of shapes that it's going to look for. Yeah, I think that's about it. I'll leave it there.
Interesting. Thank you. Have you ever shown it last year to this meeting?
No, I've not shown this anywhere. I did most of this about 18 months ago, but then
that's weird.
It's just kind of sat in a hole somewhere.
Parts of that looked familiar, like we already had this demonstration at some point. But that might just be me. I find interesting the way you used shapes. So there is placement, you can override, you can use shapes to define how to create your JSON document. It's interesting. I would not have used shapes. I would have built my own pipeline with also placement and events to say, oh, I'm building this thing, what do you want to do? And
yes. So
that's interesting. But yeah, you have, so it's placement based. Interesting. Okay, but the parts need to exist. They are actual parts, and you just redefine how to render them, because there is the parts _ title is there. There is no custom part for the API. It's just how do we serialize a specific part.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. And when I say part, I mean a specific shape, actually. So you're just rendering shapes. We're rendering shapes, not parts. You also, so the prefix you use in the dictionary
Yes.
It could be a. I don't see why it would not be a display type instead.
That's a good question. This is kind of, in some ways, this is why it's good to show it to you guys, because actually you may have feedback on
But
that.
at the same time, you have
I had tried various things, and I'm just trying to think back now why I ended up down that.
But I see that your action that you need to define. Yeah, I see why maybe because you need custom templates for. Well, you can still do that actually. You could say you can have the display type in the alternate, so you could.
So if you display in placement, you mean if you defined alternates for all?
Not just placement, even the shape itself, the template itself. You can say parts underscore title. Underscore the JSON, for instance, if the display type is JSON.
So might be fighting for precedence. I wasn't quite sure if there was a situation where you might actually end up with a sort of a clash where actually it ended up choosing a different alternate, or depending on the order those alternates got asked for in.
Yeah, maybe the combinations of alternates also will not work with display type. Okay.
And it felt like if you were using alternates, you were kind of having to set the alternates in one place that you didn't know about from actually where you were calling display. So it felt like you were relying on a sort of environment aspect to get for it to display as you were expecting.
Yeah, I like the idea of shaping the API. It's just for the content, the get by ID API, which is okay. It's just for content items, which is okay, because you will have your own web API methods which will render custom results. They don't have to be shaped. So it's interesting. I like the concept.
There was one other bit actually I just forgot to show you, if that's all right. If I've just got 1 minute. So one last thing actually, because I had actually thought about getting data into the system as well as just pulling it out. If I just get this request up. So I'd also looked at doing an admin controller that would bind to a JSON model. And again, rather than manually mapping that, if I just get the controller up, actually call content manager update editor. That wasn't particularly easy through Web API, I have to say, but I've got a very basic implementation of if I post this this form here, I've logged in, and that's it.
I also like that it's this dynamic. Oh, sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Right, so I've just posted that again. Got the wrong ID on the term part, so it's not going to let me create a new term under the taxonomy. But if we go to content now, it's just created me a new team member with the various fields set. The data structure is a little bit different for the editor stuff, but there's no reason why you couldn't implement edit shapes as well that kind of gave you the data in the correct format for those posts as well. So yeah, there we go.
Cool. Yeah, the issue is that it changes the core for shapes.
Yes.
That's why I was thinking maybe reproducing the same pipeline but just for APIs would be a solution. We could still use, so for instance in Orchard 2 I made the rendering pipeline extensible and reusable for anything. Okay. For instance, we use it for the default rendering of content items, but I'm also currently reusing it for editing the content type definitions. So we could have reused the same thing, because what is reused is the list of the drivers, the shape results, the placement, everything is. So we could even reuse it for APIs with just the custom amount of work of code for the API. That's really interesting. But again, it's just for content item APIs, just for rendering a content item.
Yes.
which is actually very interesting because when I did a REST API module, I had to take that into account. For instance, we don't want to render the media itself. We want to render just the URL and maybe the file name. So we can't have a generic way of rendering content items. It's always specific. Or maybe you want a parameter where you don't want the media URLs at all. You just want the body. So you need to be able to send a request saying, I just want the body. And alternates make sense in this case.
Yes, so one of the things, particularly with those lists, is you could really easily. In fact, I did it at one point. Was just rather than rendering out those summary bits, you could actually just render out a list of IDs and then use the in that case the directive will just go off and get the items separately.
Yeah, the display type also makes sense, like you said, detail or summary, so that a shape could say, when I'm a media picker field, in detail I render everything, in summary I just render the URL, and same. Okay, so everything makes sense actually. I like it. So yeah, it's sad that we have to change the stuff in the core. I like to see how it goes in Orchard too, actually, because it will be be interesting.
I've had a little pick through Orchard 2, but I haven't had a proper dig through it yet. But yes, I'll go and have a look at that more closely. As I say, a lot of this I did quite a while ago now, but it's been sitting in a darkened corner somewhere.
Okay, that's great. Great stuff. Okay, we are out of time. Thanks a lot. You should join more often. Questions for them? Okay, no questions. We'll do Sipka's demo next week. Please share your. Yes, I think Zoltan shared your website, and there is a blog post about it also. And whoever does, maybe Benedek, the summary will point also to your blog post. Good.
I'll get Tom to put up we've got a couple of repositories going which we kind of need to unify. So once I've done that, we'll get a more up-to-date repository on there as well.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Questions? Did I miss anything? No? Okay, so next meeting on Thursday. Thanks everyone for joining, all the new faces we see today. Thank you, Tom and Keith, for the demo. Thank you, Mark. See you on Thursday. Bye.
See you later, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
See you then.
Bye.